in the reserve. And I wanted to stay airborne. I love the airborne. It was the greatest thing that happened to me. I love being a paratrooper. Everywhere you went with the uniform on, with the jump boots and the hat patch and the little parachutes and the silver wings, people just really treated you so nice. It was a great national spirit within that war. It was a great effort. And the whole country was just, just enthralled with what had happened and how everybody had come together as a nation. And I really missed the Army. I liked the armies. And my father died when I was very young. And I missed that airborne. I missed that kind of a relationship. So I joined and I went back to the 82nd Airborne Division. And I was in it at Fort Bragg, back being a paratrooper. I liked that. And then I had the good fortune. I mean, it was wonderful being back in the Army. And they had great people who had stayed in the Army, great NCOs. They had all been in the Airborne. There weren't too many units for people who liked adventure and excitement. So they all gravitated to the 82nd or the 11th. There were 2 airborne divisions kept. One was in Japan, 11th, and the 82nd was at Prague. And so you had all the ex-Rangers and Merrill's Marauders and Airborne, First Special Service Force. All those people who had been in those kind of units in World War II and they were NCOs had gone to the 82nd or the 11th Airborne. So you had some wonderful talent and combat experienced people, and the officers too. And so it was really great to be there. And the 82nd was America's Guard of Honor, and we did a lot of good, exciting things. And I had 2 very good first sergeants during that period. One was Maximilian Trujillo, and the other one was Orlando Campisi. I'll never forget them. And I had a very good captain. I forget his first name, but his name was Alan, and he loved his company. And in those days, the captains didn't make very much, and he was always betting almost every nickel he was paid on one of his company teams. There was a great deal of intramural sports in the military then, and everybody had boxing teams and football teams, and they had events like guard mount, daily guard mount, and they would pick the best-looking soldier to be the colonel's orderly, and he didn't have to walk a post. And it was a great contest between the company commanders whose soldier would win colonel's orderly. And we went through a great effort. The whole company would make sure this guy's rifle was clean, his boots were shined, and his uniform was starched. And we were far out of our way to make sure if we had the best looking guy go out in the field there to be inspected by the officer of the day. He would pick the best looking one. We even went so far as if you had a starch trousers, we'd carry him out to the parade field. We wouldn't allow him to break the crease that was pressed into his pants, and they'd hold him by his arms, 2 guys, and they'd lower him into his boots, and they'd lace his boots for him so he wouldn't break that crease. And then you had a lot of questions to ask. To answer, the officer of the day would ask you all these questions. Who was the sergeant major? Who was the first sergeant of the company sergeant major? Who was the deputy commander of the division? All the chain of command. You had to know that. You had to know your general's orders. Just 7 or 9 general officer orders. Had to recite that perfectly. I mean, it really went to great. Your clothes had to be stamped with your right serial number. Even your handkerchiefs, they would challenge each other. Big deal. But he would bet almost his monthly pay on his guy winning the colonel's orderly for the guard mount, or his football team, or his boxing team. But anyway, those 3 said, we want you to go to OCS, and they helped me get all the college qualifications, take some college equivalency tests, so I would qualify. You had to have 2 years of college credit to go to OCS, and I finally got that, and I got to OCS, and I got to be a 2nd lieutenant. And I graduated from OCS out of Fort Riley. There was only one then, just like they have here now at Fort Benning. It was branch and material. It was a 100-man class. They were only required to graduate 50%, and then so many would go infantry, and so many would go field artillery or engineer or quartermaster, whatever. And naturally, I wanted to go infantry because I had always been infantry. And so I got to infantry, and I graduated in 19 May, and you know what happened in June? The Korean War started in 50. So and we were told at the time, don't worry about buying fancy uniforms out of the $250 clothing allowance you get if you graduate. Be better buy fatigues because we're going to let you work a lot, not play a lot.